Good morning, everyone. How are you doing today? As mentioned in our daily financial news, we have the one, the only Anna Kelly with us this morning. How you doing, Anna?
I'm doing great. Good to see you.
Nice to see you as well. Hey, the first topic of our three, and yes, folks, we do three topics with our experts each and every day. I want to talk about real estate investing being a skill. I truly believe it's a skill, and because it's a skill, it can be learned. It's not like you're born 7 feet tall and you could jump out of the gym and you have great hand-eye coordination as God gave you. Real estate investing is a skill, and if you do the work, you focus, you can get better each and every day. Is that fair, or do you think some people just have it?
It's totally fair. Each of us is gifted kind of differently, right? So some people might have that they're handy more so than I do. I might have more, the math mind and the numbers mind more than other people do. But there's so many different facets that you can't be good at all of it.
Mm-hmm.
You might have like some natural talent, but until you start developing it and learning and adjusting, you're not going to be that good. Everybody's going to feel like they're not cut out for it at first. It can be a little overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
But you just learn. And I'm still learning. 22 years after I bought my first property, I'm still finding out things literally this week that I have never dealt with and don't know how to do, but I'm going to figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. And I hope people hear this because, again, I've shared this story many times. I came to real estate investing after suffering a significant loss in the stock market. I thought I got arrogant. I got cocky. I started as an investor and I became a speculator, or worse, a gambler, right? My fear of missing out, my beginner's luck, I just got stupid, frankly. I got lazy. I stopped doing the work. Big six-figure loss, go to real estate. And the beauty is you never stop learning. There's always more. Like you said, I still find cool things. And I'm not even like you, right? I'm still in one market after 20 years, right? You've expanded, you're building, you're doing all Airbnbs and luxury. And I'm like, nope, buy a home, single family homes. And I'm still learning every day. It's kind of amazing.
Yeah. And it's really cool that you can kind of do it whatever way works best for you, right? And so many people have different personalities. You have different, family constraints, you have different locality constraints. There's so many ways to do it that there's no excuse to say, I just don't have it or I just can't do it. Figure out what works for you and then just keep getting better every day.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I've seen by this channel over the last 2.5 or 3 years now is everybody can do it. You just have to make the choice to do it, right? It is the recipe to learning a market or learning real estate is really not that hard. It's digging in, seeing what's out there, talking to people. That's the big thing I missed in the beginning is I thought the answer lived in Excel because I was kind of gravitated to the numbers because it was easier. But real estate, you got to talk to a lot of people.
Yeah, you do. And today it's even less complicated because there's so many great resources. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you have a daily show, 3 interviews a day with a different expert plus your own things. People can listen every single day to something new.
Mm-hmm.
You can go out on blogs, you can go out on internet, you can buy books. The information is there. So there's no excuse that you can't figure it out and learn it. The information is there. The hard part is just in applying it and getting comfortable with being uncomfortable and having to figure things out. I'm very much a planner, and it's like I want to figure it out, mitigate my risk, know what they are, and then jump, right? And some people just jump. I don't think that's necessarily wise, but it's also not wise to think I've got to have it all figured out, read every book, understand it all before I go. There's kind of this fine balance between go grab the information, make a decision that you're going to learn it and you're going to do something, and then give yourself a timeline when you need to jump and just take the first step. First step is just look for properties.
Yeah.
Start looking for properties, start learning markets, learn what they sell for, learn what they rent for. If you can figure that out, you're going to be okay when you buy, just to take that first purchase step.
Yeah. The math is not hard. It's addition and subtraction. It's not calculus or trigonometry or anything like that. I love how you kind of walked through that logic. The first thing that jumped out at me is what I looked for 20 years ago, and I don't know if you saw this or not, but I was always looking for, hey, let me go find a full-time employee, right? Someone who had a job like me that did this thing. And I could never really find that, right? Rich Dad, Poor Dad, or all these other books, they were real estate agents or brokers. Maybe they were construction workers, right? They always seem to have an angle or a pitch. I'm like, no, I just just show me a W-2 employee who did it. So hence the book I wrote and the channel. But now there's even more and more people that are just like, hey, I was a W-2 employee. I did it slow and steady. It's a treasure to see.
100%. And I think we've said this quite a few times. Real estate is not easy, but it is not that complicated.
Right.
It really isn't, because every challenge that you face, somebody else has probably faced it 9 times out of 10. And there's somebody that can help you and go, hey, I've done this before, go look. I'll give you just one very quick example. This is kind of a strange situation, but I just bought a property. It was an 8-unit building, former municipal building and police station. And it had this huge parking lot paved all around it with all these nice parking spaces. And we, drawings were already pre-approved by the municipality to get moving and go to the engineering phase. Bought the building, went to the municipal building. And actually 2 days before we got ready to settle, they said, oh, there's an issue with title. We're like, what? And apparently when these old plots are built, like when neighborhoods are designed, they have these plot plans and they say, okay, you can purchase however many plots you want. And oh, by the way, here's where the streets and the alleys are going to go between these lots. Well, people could buy 1 lot or they could buy 10 lots. Well, what happened was this plot of plan got purchased together and nobody ever bought or was deeded the alleyway that was supposed to go between these 2 different plots of land.
Yeah.
So back then in 1930, when they built this property, they just bought the parcels on either side of the alley and were kind of deemed to be the owner, but weren't legally granted the ownership.
Yeah.
So here I think we've got this plot, we're going to start building, and I find out I may not own part of my driveway and that changes the setbacks and I may not be able to build. And I'm ready to roll. Rates are low. My lender's ready. I want to go. And I found out yesterday when I called the municipal building, oh, we didn't have this. But when the engineer comes, it'll show the setbacks and you don't own it. So you got to start something called quiet title action, which means my attorney has to go and publish in the paper that I want to be deeded this land that nobody owns, 60 days for residents to object and say they don't want me to do it, and hope that they grant me ownership of this little strip of alley that doesn't ever exist, that no one's ever owned, before I can build. And it's like, what do I do? So I say, okay, I guess my attorney will figure out how to do this quiet title. And a good friend of mine, another real estate investor, well-known, has a show. He's like, oh, I've done this many times in PA. Here's the attorney that's the expert.
Nice.
Wonderful. So again, I wasn't afraid of it. I still closed on the property and I said, well, I'm going to have to figure something out. It could be an issue, maybe, maybe not. Yeah. Worst case, I can't build. Let's figure it out.
Right.
And that's the mindset you have to have, is let's figure it out as we go. And there's going to be someone that can help you. So just jump, learn, find support and jump. It's the best thing I ever did. And I know you'll say the best thing you ever did was to get started in something you didn't know anything about.
Yeah. And again, here's the treat for folks. This is what, this is step 1 of my $200 course is, I'll tell you it right now. Step 1 is focus, right? Pick a tight criteria. And for most of you, tighter than you think you should do. And then look every day, right? 10 to 20 minutes a day, document what you're seeing. It will feel uncomfortable. It will feel repetitive. And then all of a sudden it'll be like, oh, that's a better deal than I've seen before. Or, oh, that one's overpriced. You will become an expert in whatever that criteria is. So again, it's not hard. There is a process. It worked for me in a market that I'd never been to, never lived in, never spent the night in. It's just go do that. And it is a skill. It can be learned.
100%. Absolutely.
Very cool. Well, Anna, thank you very much for your time. I look forward to topic number 2.